Welcome back to episode 3 of Documenting My Forever World. Okay, we're starting back up here on the beach where we did a couple little renovations to the path and added some new details to experiment with. I think I need to add a couple more to make it a little bit more cohesive, but that's not what we're going to get into today. Today we are going to try to tackle one of the most annoying and persistent problems in all of Minecraft, and that is the random junk that piles up in your sorting system. So off camera, I went ahead and mined out a couple more layers here to work with, and went ahead and gathered all of the supplies I think I need for this, at least making the redstone bit of it. So we're gonna do a little time lapse of that before we get into doing the inside. We join the young man in his natural habitat, a cave with nothing more than chests in his inventory. The young man will do what only he knows how to do, which is place chests. And he does so effortlessly. But wait a minute! It looks like the young man has miscalculated the amount of chests he needs to put into the system. So now he must venture forth into the wilderness to scrounge for materials to finish placing the chest he needs. He mindlessly wanders and crafts the chest before quickly flying back down to the hole. Oh, it looks like our young man has gone on a detour to grab more redstone. But nonetheless, he returns to finish the task at hand. But wait a moment, he's forgotten how many chests he needs to craft. But that cannot be a problem, as the young man pushes forward, installing the hopper and redstone bits and bobs into the sorting system. He quickly goes in circles, adding the comparators and the redstone and the hoppers to create item filters. The young man does this persistently and quickly as he loses his mind. He continues to add item filters to each layer before moving on to the next task. Which you might ask, what is the next task? That is to add the item delivery system so that the items may flow through each of these systems. But it looks like the young man's starting to go mad. He's coming towards us. Ah! The young man has found and killed my cameraman before he could film the rest of the documentary. Oh, what a sad day. Okay, all the redstone is now done, so we can get on to the next really boring part, which I'm probably not going to show you much of, if any, but it is naming a bunch of iron nuggets and putting in the different items we want to go in all the floors. We have this little book here that shows us what items we have on each floor, and we have already planned out what is going to go through these next couple. I have a list of what I want to put in and what I'm going to put in, so I'm going to get ahead and start naming all these iron nuggets and putting them in to lock all the hoppers down there and putting all the items in, and then we can get to the interior. Oh my goodness, it's literally been 5 hours doing resource gathering and sorting all of the things. I've had to go to the Enderman farm twice to get XP for iron nuggets. It's been so long. So I'm going to take a quick sleep here, and then we can do the interior and start sorting things as we go. And we'll get to the final thing of the day. We have 18 shulker boxes full of random crap. I know not all of this is going to be able to go through the sorting system. I have set up a collection chest system down there to catch everything, just so we know what else we need to put at the very bottom. I'm also probably going to go in and make an Excel spreadsheet for everything, just so I double check, because this is starting to hurt my brain. But I'm going to quickly show you each of the levels finished, and then we can get on to the very bottom pond. Okay, that's one done. Number 2 is finished. That's a lot of stuff. Half of it's like sortable too. I love the sorting system. Third one is basically finished. I had to substitute the copper bulbs for some frog lights here because I just don't have the blaze powder to create, or blaze rods to create some more copper bulbs. but for now it's a easy solution. As you can see, we still have items flowing through here, and we're filling that up pretty well. But we can move on to our last item for the day. For the last part of the video, we gotta make a little pond down here. One thing about this sorting system is I die a lot just trying to drop down to the different levels, which is a big, like, oversight in my eyes. I kind of thought about it when we first made it, but I just like the effect. It kind of looks like a Coruscant, like, pit to me from down here. So we're keeping it. I don't care, we're keeping it. Now that we've established that I'm keeping it, we gotta put the floor in down here for when we eventually put in the iron golem system, or the copper golem systems. So, to counteract a death problem, I'm gonna build a big pond around here, and then that way we can just drop down and jump into it. So first, I just kind of gotta remove all this junk from the middle here and kind of create a clear space and get rid of this beacon as well before we put the outline around here. You know what? After second thought, I'm going to keep the beacon in case I need to break anything. It is just normal now, though. That's kind of sad. The next step here is to create a kind of outline here, which I want to make it 1 or 2 blocks in from the middle ring, so that way we have like no chance of really falling and hitting anything that will like get us killed. So now what I'm going to do is just come up here, get on the right level first, and just kind of create a natural outline of what I want this to look like. We kind of got our basic outline in here. That should cover us for the most part. This corner might get bumped out a little bit. But now I'm going to just add in the rest of the floor and with cobbled deep slate and then stone where I want it, the outside to be turned to mud, or turned to moss. I think going out 3 blocks is kind of excessive, or like 4 blocks. So I think I want to keep it to 3 blocks, so we're gonna go around and add 1 or 2 more here. So I feel like I'm really bad at this like whole talking while I'm building thing. I kind of just like ramble about nonsense or start singing random songs that I don't have the copyright to, and I'm too broke to buy anything like that. But now the little border's finished, and now I can go in and add the rest of the flooring. Well, I just realized I forgot to replay mod me putting in the floor, so I feel like, swear to God, I feel like talking to myself like this. It's just gonna make me go schizo. I guess are all YouTubers schizo then? Okay, I got the floor all in, and I'm gonna quickly remove this beacon, and we're gonna start putting in the mud and the muddy mangrove roots here at the bottom before we turn the edges to moss, and then we're gonna fill it all with water. Okay, I think what I want to do is kind of like start with layering in some moss into the edges here, so that when we transition from the moss layer on the stone here into the pond level, it kind of makes a little bit better of a transition. I'm probably going to also add a bunch of like grass and stuff inside of the pond and outside of the pond, so that will also probably give it a little bit of a better transition as we go along. I think like a nice little moss block here and a nice little one more here. We'll do like a double there. I'll put this in and we should look good. So that's like kind of the first level, and we'll bone meal the rest of it in a second. But we're gonna move on to the second level here, where I want to start incorporating the muddy mangrove roots. I think the base level is going to be a lot of muddy mangrove roots. If I want to do it properly, I think it should be coming from the moss blocks would be the best transition. I know moss doesn't have a root system, but if we're thinking of it as like a plant, that makes sense in my head. I guess it's all up to interpretation, which all of Minecraft is, I guess. So don't get too butthurt about anything, is probably what I'm trying to say. I think I like to think I'm philosophical and a deep thinker, but I'm really not. I kind of just say words that don't make sense to the normal average human being. That will be most of the root system now, and I think we just kind of like connect it all up in the center here. Okay, now that we have all the roots in, we just go in and fill it with mud now. That looks pretty good. I know it kind of just looks like a poo stain right now, but I think once we get the water in, it will kind of look a little bit better and a little bit more intentional, hopefully. Now we're just gonna go around here and kind of just, oh, it changes the mud. Oh, it changes the mud. It changes the mud. Okay, noted. Too late to stop. Do I hate it though? Yeah, I don't particularly hate the moss coming down this far actually. It might have been a delightful surprise. I think it kind of looks better. You know what? Minecraft, you proved me wrong. Thank you for changing it. I will go in here and add some more transition detail, I think, though. I do think it's a little too mossy. So how I want to light this pond up is gonna kind of just be how I do most other things when it comes to lighting. So I think we have to find spots that have deep slate under it and not bedrock, and we're just gonna do like 2 of these. I think that lights it up fairly nice. Now what we gotta do is come in here and put in all of the water. I must go get my water buckets. Okay, so I went and got me an inventory full of water, and I just have to say before I get started putting this in, it is so nice being able to just open the chest up there full of empty shulker boxes that I can just throw all my random crap in now. Making these YouTube videos has really just made me lock it in, and I'm so thankful that I did this project because it is just so nice and such a quality of life change to just have that much crap. I guess no more rambling and we can get into adding the water. I may have miscalculated the amount of water I needed. I forgot infinite water sources existed when I first went up there. Now I look like an idiot. Now that I'm done being stupid, we can go ahead and just kind of bone meal some seagrass in here at the bottom, and I think that will look nice. I want to kind of avoid doing the moss just so we don't spread it any more than we already have it. But I think that will give it a nice little transition touch as well. Might need to cut back on some of the tall ones. I think I really only want the short seagrass in here. That way it doesn't over congest the site. I really don't know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of winging it. Seeing what looks good and what doesn't look good. I think it's turning out alright. The real test is when we just drop into it. Which I guess that's now. Back up the water. It looks safe. I mean, it's just water down there, so it shouldn't be too bad, right? Walk off the edge. Oh god. Oh god. That looks good, I think. I think it looks great. It's kind of a weird transition from what we've been doing. I don't know if I want to transition the look of the sorting system to be any different than what we've been doing down here. I just kind of want to experiment with a pond and making a pond. I'm not gonna lie, so I made a pond. I don't know if this is gonna last forever, but this might be turned into a fountain or something that maybe fits the theme a little bit more of the sorting system interior. But it just kind of really depends on what we do with this bottom level once we put the iron golems in. I think we're probably just going to copy the same color scheme and things from the previous levels, so this might get changed out. But that kind of brings us to the end of the episode. It's kind of a shorter one this time around. I didn't have a lot of time to play this week, but that is it. So thank you for watching, as always, and I hope you have a great day. Boom!